welcome to day 8 here in Riyadh and the WTA finals. I've had to push it back 30 minutes this evening. Hopefully you got the message on social media, and those that have been joining have joined us again. No excuses, just we were out for dinner. That was it. So you don't often get the opportunity in these places, and with tennis taking over, and the girls wanted to go out and get some Saudi food, so we've had a lovely time, lovely meal, and it's nice. I know the tournament has a long way to run, right? And it's not about celebrating in terms of celebrating anything special or feeling like the tournament's over, but it is also nice to just stop and reflect. And Gabby and Erin, for those listening the first time around, I'm Dan Kiernan and Gabby Dabrowski and Routliffe coach, as well as the host of Control the Controllables. And they had a fantastic win, went 2-0 today at the WTA finals, and that was the first match of the day, which is where we'll start. I'm sure we'll move into a few other little bits as well as we go across the day, because it's been another great day of tennis. But they beat Paolini and Errani 1-6, 7-6, 11-9 in a match which I have to be honest, I felt they were fairly well beaten for a lot of that match. I've had a few questions on this, and maybe we start with the questions that have come in around this. Lots of questions around, how did they come back from a set down? 6-1 first set. What happened? Not only was it 6-1 first set, but it was actually they lost the first 13 points. And we've been laughing about it at dinner. Erin knew, Gabby didn't. And Erin said, I just wanted to shout out at Change Events, we've lost 12 points in a row. But I didn't want Gabby to know, and that gives a little bit about their personalities, I guess. And it was one of those. We've seen a few 6-1s this week, but I think my starting point and what I'd like to do in terms of the match from today is, and I think what happened was, we know how good Paolini and Errani are. Errani's won a Golden Slam. She's incredible. Paolini, what a year she's had, right? What a year she's had. But I don't think we were quite ready for how big she was hitting the ball. I mean, they made 11 out of their first 12 first serves. And first serves obviously get the job done out here. And Errani was serving at Paolini was serving at about 178s, 180s. And she was just on the return. Like it was, and I think the speed of ball that she was hitting with, and how clean and how low over the net, I think it maybe just shocked the girls a little bit to start with. And hats off to Errani and Paolini for that. But just again, big congrats. Message come through. Big congrats, unbelievable match today, Dan. Didn't think it would be possible after the first set, and that's in line with a couple of questions we've had. How do you turn around a first set? Now, I think the first thing to say is this scoring system. We all need to respect the scoring system in doubles. Because a 6-1 set can happen. I know it wasn't necessarily lots of sudden death juices, but it can be at times. But when you're a 6-1 set down, you're also not far away from being in a match tiebreak. And it's the same when you're 6-1 up. You can't get ahead of yourself in any way. And probably the big message that certainly happened later on that I think worked well with the girls was when they got broken to go 5-6 down. I actually managed to get a message to them to say, look, you've lost the first hour of this match, and because of that, you're going to be feeling a bit down, However, if you win the next 15 minutes of the match, you'll be the winners of this match. So let's get your heads together. Let's stick together as a team and win this next 15 minutes. And Gabby walked off the court, and the first thing she said is, well, we won the last 15 minutes, and they don't always listen to me, but I think they did listen to that today. And I think it's just important for the mind, right? For anyone that plays tennis, but also doubles in this scoring system. You can have your backside handed to you. But if you stay with it and you end up winning the last 10 minutes, and another favourite saying of mine is you're never more than 10 minutes out of a match, really. You'd be 6-1, 4-1 down in singles. Good 10 minutes, you're back to 4-all. So I think the mentality was really important, and I have to give massive credit to Gabby and Erin for that. And they had two hard-fought holds of serve. They were struggling to hold serve, but they played two really smart games. And another question that's come in is, what did the tactics change? Was it more of plan A, or was it changed to plan B? Now, there was definitely a shift. The girls used a couple of slower serves to Paolini, which is not going to work over a course of a match, but it caught her off guard a couple of times. So that was smart. And the play calling, again by them, I think was very smart today. They got lots of touches. In doubles, you're always trying to get the service partner to touch the ball, and they managed to do that well, but just at times the ball was being hit just too big. Just too big to be able to deflect that next ball off, and that's obviously an area to continue working at. So I think there was definitely some subtle shifts, but the biggest one was more of just the mindset of like, look, there's going to be chances are going to come. We know that Errani's not the best server. She's fantastic in all other aspects, but she's going to give you chances. So it was important to get a couple of holds on the board, and then once they got the holds on the board, they actually started breaking Errani pretty frequently. That felt like a game that they did a great job with the returns with Errani's game. Got to 5-3 up, and then you're thinking, here we go. Erin had served beautifully all day. Erin missed some first serves, and before you know it, they're 5-all, and then lost the sudden death juice to be 6-5 down. So you've got to really commend them for that last 15-20 minutes. Big shout out to, like I say, Paolini and Errani. And you know what? Again, just to share a little conversation I had afterwards is Paolini's coach, and I don't know his name, but he's a lovely guy. Spent a lot of time just kind of chatting to him at Wimbledon. And at Wimbledon, when we were just chatting at the indoor courts, because male coaches often won't have anywhere to hang out, because if you're working with female players, because you can't go in male locker rooms or female locker rooms, obviously. So we were at the indoor tennis centre, and there's this lovely guy, older Italian guy, and we just kind of chatting away, and it wasn't till later in the week that I realised it was Paolini's coach, and I've had some nice chats with him since. But after the match, we were at the practice courts, and he came up and he said, really well done. You great job. The team did a great job there. Well done to you, coach, and all the best for the rest of the tournament. Lovely. He said that, and I just had to say to him, look, I have to say, and I just want to say it to you, that Jasmine is, I might have even said the F word, is effing awesome. She really is, and it was a real privilege for me to be at the side of the court watching her close up. I said we're all big fans of hers and big fans of what you guys have done, and there was a nice little bromance moment after a match like that as well, which is what we want, right? It's like you do battle on the court, but then off the court, you have your conversations, you show your respects, and big shout out to the whole Italians, and who knows, we might see him again. In a few days time. We'll take one more question. We've got a couple more that have come through, but I want to move on with the rest of the show, because there's been more tennis played today than just that match, as good as it was. Can I ask your impression of the Errani serve? It seems to come through slow, but I've seen a few teams struggle with it. Maybe it's an adjustment at first. Yeah, I think that's a good observation. I mean, she hit one today that was 92 kilometers an hour. I mean, that's what, 55 miles an hour? Maybe a little bit more, 57, 58 miles an hour. And it was one to Gabby in the outside, and I mean, it was like a short forehand had been fed, but Gabby chose to play the backhand and she missed it long. And I think that was actually later on in the match. But I think, yeah, the slow ball can. The slow ball can certainly throw you. And the example I give actually was Erin played doubles with Mike Venus, mixed doubles at Wimbledon, and Sue Wei, who's serving at like 65, 70 mile an hour. Michael Venus, who's a top 20 male player in the world, won Grand Slams, returns these 120 mile an hour serves incredibly well. He couldn't make a return against Sue Wei. Sorry, Mikey, for this, because you worked it out. You worked it out eventually, but the feet got set. When you're facing big serves, you're often deflecting the ball. You're not adding. You're not having to add speed, and I would teach that off a first serve. You don't want to add speed to the first serve in general. You want to time it, and Michael Venus was used to doing that against the men's serves. His feet were still. He wasn't using the hand. He wasn't ripping the ball to create his own speed and pace on the ball, and he massively struggled. And I think that is what happens when Errani serves coming through. And the one thing I would say about Errani, obviously she had big trouble serving lots of double faults not so long back, but she seems to have fixed that. So it's a somewhat. Her first volley's really good. Again, girls did a great job as returners partner today. A couple of big points where they really closed the net well, because her first volley is very good, and if you let that bounce, then you tend to be pushed back, and then they're in a position of strength at the net. So it's an interesting one, but she's obviously made it work, and she's had an incredible career, and I'm sure that team's a serious team. The results will show that. They were absolutely one of the top teams this year, and don't be surprised if they find their way back into this tournament as well. That's the beauty of it. And obviously, as we talk about Paolini, that's going to be a big match tomorrow, really interesting. Her and Zhang, two massively informed players. The winner of that goes through alongside Sabalenka, who, big shout out to Arina Sabalenka, and also Katerina Siniakova, who today were announced as the world #1 year end. I was talking about it, Erin, with Erin's sister. Actually, she mentioned, that could have been you, Erin, not in a nasty way in any way, but Erin did say, well, no, not at all. She's won 2 Grand Slams this year. What an incredible year. And it's the 4th time that Siniakova has finished the world as world #1. So a big well done to her coaching team, who's on a brilliant year. And obviously time will tell over the next few days how that all finishes up. But an incredible achievement, and a big well done, and also to Arina Sabalenka, who now has got that secured as world #1 in the singles. So then moving on, the next one that we had, the next match, and I've been disappointed, and I feel for all these players. You want them to come and perform on this stage, right? And Jess Pegula hasn't performed. She didn't perform against Coco the other day. She hasn't performed against Krejcikova today. She just seems a little bit off. One point, and it's a bit of, maybe this is a little bit lazy of me to say, but I know she's got this kind of multiple coaches, and I think they work together. Mark Merklin, I think it is, and Mark Knowles. And Mark Merklin's done the mainstay with Jess. I know that Mark Knowles was with the team as well at US Open, but it felt a bit strange for me that she turned up here with Mark Knowles and not Mark Merklin, who spent most of the time with her. Does that have an impact? I don't know, but we're talking about marginal gains at the top end of the game. And Jess has obviously had a fantastic second half to the year, but she just didn't look in the right mindset from the word go. I sat with my wife Vicky watching the Pegula first round match against Coco, first round robin match, and she didn't seem, I would say she didn't seem herself. She's so stoic, and she's such a fighter, and she's so level, but she seemed very negative, a lot of negative talk. So I believe she probably goes out the event now after that loss. And I tell you what, this court surface suits, and these conditions suit Krejcikova. If she's got a win under her belt, I know she will play Coco in a couple of days' time. But if she can find herself in the semis, she's the sort of player, when she goes into those later stages and she gets a rhythm, she will be really dangerous on here. So that's one that's going to be interesting. And then the second one, I saw part of it, I didn't see all of it. Coco Gauff, we've talked a lot about her this week with another excellent win over Iga Swiatek. Iga's not herself. You can see it. I could see the frustration, the little bit I did see. Coco ultimately doesn't serve double fault. She wins. And there was a couple of moments, I think she served 2 in the first set, and then she served 3 in the first game of the second. But then I think she slowed it down again and didn't hit so many double faults for the rest of the match. She's from the back of the court, certainly on the backhand side, but she's managing her forehand pretty well. From the back of the court, the way she's moving, she seems to be the one that can really contend with Sabalenka. But can the serve stay above water, and is she able to reduce those double fault counts? Let's see. But yeah, Iga then obviously she now will play against, who is it? Where's my mind gone? Iga will play against Jess, of course, Jess Pegula. Now, how motivated Jess is going to be, I think Jess is probably out the event. I don't know the full ins and outs of that, but let me see if I can find that actually. What is the ins and outs of the group? Let me see, because I get a little wrap up here. So let's have a look. We've got, I've just seen here, Gabby Dabrowski and Routliffe will advance as group winners. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Great, well done, girls. So the last doubles match that finished this evening, obviously, Chan and Kudermetova won 10-7 in the third against Dollarhide and Kravchuk. I didn't realise that made them the winners actually. So yeah, it sounds like they're the winners of the group. So that's fantastic. Well done to the girls. I don't see what it says about the singles. I don't see what it says here about the singles. So we're going to have to wait and see. Oh, here we go. So this is the complications. So we've got, if Swiatek wins in straight sets and Gauff wins against Krejcikova, then Gauff will finish first in the group. So I think Goff's got first in the group sewn up, is my understanding. No, not quite. No, she hasn't got first sewn up. Pegula can't go through. Gauff wins her match against Krejcikova and Swiatek beats Pegula. Then it will be Gauff first in the group, and it will be Swiatek second in the group. If Krejcikova beats Gauff in straight sets, then it will be Krejcikova first, Gauff second. If Krejcikova beats Gauff in 3 sets, it'll be Gauff first, Krejcikova second. So Swiatek's only chance of going through is if she beats Pegula, and if Coco, who doesn't have to because she's already topped the group, if Coco beats Krejcikova. So if Coco wants Iga out of the tournament, she can let Krejcikova win. That's not going to happen because each win is worth absolutely thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and also lots and lots of points. But that is what we are looking at. So it's getting to that sort of stage, right? We're starting to get to these sort of scenarios of what's going to happen, which is all very exciting. And then it'll come down to semi-finals on the Friday. So let's see how all of that goes. If you do have any questions, please quickly send them in. I'm going to get to 1 or 2 more, and then we're gonna head out. Keep this as a short and sweet one for the day, and I'm hoping to get a guest to join me. Possibly actually Erin's sister, who's been out here in Saudi. I think it would be nice to kind of someone from a family of one of the players to come on and just understand their take. How has it been in Saudi? What's from her side. I think that will be a really nice insight to be able to give you guys. But let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's it. I think, guys, I'm gonna leave it there, and we will be back at the usual time of 8 p.m. UK, 9 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. As ever, get your questions in. Thank you for joining. Thank you for reaching out. We've had some lovely messages from different people saying that you're really enjoying this. So thank you. It's easy for me to do. I love speaking tennis, and it's obviously very exciting to be here and to bring a little bit of an inside of the WTA finals to you from Riyadh. But more than happy to give you whatever insights that you are all looking for. So thank you for the messages. Thank you for the good luck messages to the girls. And yeah, we move on with the tournament. More exciting tennis to come tomorrow. We've got the big servers, the big hitters, Sabalenka and Rybakina, that go at each other tomorrow. And then the match of the day for me tomorrow, which is the winner of that will join Sabalenka in the semis, which is Qin Wenjung and Paolini. Two players that I expect are absolutely going to go at each other, toe to toe. I expect it to be a great match. So make sure you tune into that, and we'll bring you that and more tomorrow night. But until next time, I'm Dan Kiernan, and we are Control the Controllables.